from his new apartment is DIY design expert Christian Dare. Christian, it is so good to see you. I'm so happy we are finally in your space. We've been talking about this for a while. So what was the inspiration for this rental redesign?
So the inspiration for this is like, I always say you should don't compete with your space. So you'll see I obviously got a 1980s condo. It's got parquet floors, it's got lots of mirror, and I say work with it instead of competing against it. So I was thinking 80s, early 80s glam, but then I also like to tell people, always think about when you're gonna use this space. So I'm often busy, I'm away from home all day, so it's very much a nighttime space. And I think a lot of us don't design our houses based on nighttime. So literally I was like, nighttime, 80s glam, I was like, oh, hotel lobbies. So that really was my very big inspiration, was like, how do I make it feel like a chic hotel lobby, sophisticated, a little bit sexy, where you just kind of want to hang out.
You are always very good about being on theme, but not doing it in a way that's so literal. Because you've done our studio in so many different iterations and you always nail it. So I'm excited to see this one. Now, let's talk storage. I always find storage is a really tough part of the entrance to any home. Do you have tips for the boots, the shoes, the jacket, the storage? What should we be doing?
I do. So I actually am lucky. I actually have 2 vestibules in this apartment, which is kind of weird. It's very much an 80s classic thing. So at the front, I've got lots of closet. But what's interesting is this second space, I literally had no idea what to do with it. Because in theory, behind that bookcase is a door to a kitchen that I covered over with just a bookcase. And then there's a door to a living room, a door to a bedroom. So it was a lot of space. So I actually put in these faux built-ins that actually are filled with storage. This one isn't shoes, this is all sorts of DIY accessories. But it was a great way to make that extra storage because it's just right off the front hall. So you literally could have all your extra shoes over here. I also love it because it was like, how do you then create a secondary space that's usable versus just like a hallway with a table in the middle that's just kind of a crossways, right? And I don't know about you, I don't necessarily need 2 exits and entrances to my kitchen. I'm not in there that often.
Christian, you're sort of like me and Brian then, right? You only need to be in there when you need to be in there. And you know what?
And mostly to make a cocktail.
And mostly to make a cocktail. I must know you very well because as soon as you said 80s glam, I'm like, he's going dark. And there you went dark and it looks chic and I love the drama of it. So let's talk about elevating the space.
So literally what it is, it's actually Billy IKEA bookcases. So they're not that fancy, but literally I planned them so they would go wall to wall. So it feels like a built-in without actually spending the money on a built-in. And then instead of designing it like a traditional bookcase, I design it more like a hotel lobby that has oversized bookcases. So it literally is about mixing in art with vases, with pieces of sculpture, and then still pieces of books. So it still feels kind of like a library, but more of an arty library. I want to put in a giant oversized chair that's very much on trend. It's a great place to just like chill out, do your own photo shoots to be honest, but also read books. And then I also say, because there's so much art on this wall, I actually hung one oversized piece off center on this wall, which I think people would think, why is it justified all the way to the right? But it creates that balance for you.
Oh, it's beautiful and it's lit. I love the art, the lighting on the piece of art there. That's beautiful. So we're going to move now into the next part of your space. You're going to give us a peek at your living room. Let's talk about what was happening there before.
Yeah. So the previous living room was this giant oversized white box of mostly boringness. But what's great is it's actually really, really big. Like it's almost like 12 feet by 20 feet. And then it actually overlooked a dining room, which, I mean, I've already told you I don't eat that much, so I didn't need a dining room. So it was like, how do you recreate that space? So what I think can be really tricky when people think about layouts is, oh, the only wall is over there. I have to put my TV on that wall. And then your sectional would kind of block off the room. It would feel awkward. So I would actually kind of cheated. And I found this great TV from Samsung. It's called the Seraph. And it actually has legs. So you do not need to hang it on the wall. It has a completely covered up back. So when it's TV time, we actually just move the TV right here. It's often here, to be honest with you, but I want it to seem fancier, like we don't watch that much TV. And you can watch that TV without feeling like you have to center your entire room on a giant wall.
We just need to talk about this sectional Do you want to go like spread out on that sectional right now? How long is that sectional?
Oh, yeah.
How tall are you? What is going
So I'm
on
6
here?
feet. It's literally what I love about this sectional is it's so big that 2 or 3 people can have full out naps or sleepovers on this sectional, which is amazing. It's great for entertaining. It's great for parties. And I think a lot of people are scared when they're doing rentals of buying a giant sectional, but I opted for one that's modular. So each piece can be separated. So it's actually a couch I brought from another house, and it was set up in a very different formation. You could actually split it into 2 pieces. It makes it easy and kind of multifunctional. And then the other trick I love to do that's, to be honest, hotel lobby inspired, is small, multiple coffee tables. So instead of a giant clunky one, you literally could move them around so people could have little intimate conversations and still have room for their drinks. And you don't have that giant clunky coffee table to get in the way. How do you style it? How do you design it? So it creates that sort of openness to the space, which is nice.
That's beautiful. So you've got the nesting tables, you've got the gigantic sectional. Anything else in that space that you want to point out for us, Christian? Because so far that is so well
also,
done.
Yeah, so what I love is I've broken probably every designer's rules that talk about it. As you see, I have way more than 3 pillows on this sofa, which I think is fine when you have a giant sofa. And it's all about mixing and matching them, right? So it's like doing that oversizedness, that over print on print on print, which I think is interesting. I think when people think I talk about, oh, I really want to do an 80s glam room that's very dark and black. Oh, is he going to have print? Of course I am. This is Christian Dare. There's going to be print on print on print. But if you keep them within the same tones, it doesn't feel busy. Like, this is not New Orleans. I'm not doing pinks and greens and florals, but it still has that great sophistication.
It looks absolutely stunning. And thank you for showing us that just because it's a rental, you know, it doesn't mean you should not be elevating your space. You've done all sorts of gorgeous glam details that I think make the space so much more comfortable and stylish. Christian, thank you for that. We're going to be following you along for a while with this journey. Thank you.